Welcome to The Explainer. So glad you're here because today we are tackling something that literally every single entrepreneur operating in the show me state has to master. We're going to completely demystify this whole bureaucratic process and get you fully prepared to conquer your business taxes like a pro. So are you ready to start your business in Missouri, but you just don't know where to begin with the sales tax permit? Well, let's unlock the doors to your business's compliance and success. Listen, getting your sales tax registration right, it's not just checking a box on some paperwork. It is the fundamental starting line for your business. The stakes are incredibly high here, and honestly, missing this one step can completely derail your dream before you even make your very first sale. Okay, let's dive into this logical journey so you know exactly what to expect. We'll start with why you need this permit, who must get registered, and the step-by-step application process. Then, we'll cover how to avoid costly application pitfalls, the next steps for staying compliant, and finally, your roadmap to business success. Section 1. Why you need this permit and the high stakes of tax compliance in Missouri. Look, setting up a business takes a ton of energy, right? And I know it's so tempting to just push administrative paperwork straight to the bottom of your to-do list. But what actually is this permit? Simply put, a sales tax permit is an official authorization from the Missouri Department of Revenue. It's absolutely required to legally collect and remit sales tax on taxable goods and services. Now, depending on your business, you might hear this called a retail sales tax license if you're an in-state seller, or a vendor's use tax license for out-of-state remote sellers. Whatever name applies to you, consider this your mandatory golden ticket. Without it, you absolutely cannot legally collect sales tax from your customers. And this right here is exactly why you can't ignore it. $10,000. Yeah, you heard that right. If you decide to just go ahead and operate, making sales without a Missouri retail sales tax license, you're looking at a penalty of $500 for the very first day. And then another $100 for every single day after that. This penalty maxes out at a massive $10,000 fine. Let's be real, that is a crushing blow to any new business budget. Moving on to Section 2, who must get registered? And understanding physical versus economic nexus. To figure out if you actually need this permit, we've got to look at a concept called nexus. Think of it as the legal connection between your business and the state of Missouri that essentially forces you to collect their tax. And this brilliantly illustrates the difference. On the left, we have physical nexus. This gets triggered if you have a traditional brick-and-mortar store, employees working in the state, or even Amazon FBI inventory physically sitting in a Missouri warehouse. On the right, we've got economic nexus. This applies to out-of-state remote sellers. Even if you have zero physical presence, if your gross receipts from taxable sales into Missouri cross that $100,000 threshold in a calendar year, boom, you trigger economic nexus and you have to register for a vendor's use tax license. Both paths lead to the exact same requirement. You need a permit. All right, Section 3, the step-by-step application process. Let's conquer Form 2643 and My Tax Missouri. I know government forms sound a bit scary, but trust me, if we gather the right tools beforehand, this process is a breeze. And the best part? Registering for the permit is completely free. Here is your pre-application checklist. You'll need your Federal Employer Identification Number, or FIN. You need your charter number from the Secretary of State. You've got to have the exact names, social security numbers, and birth dates of all owners or LLC members. You need exact addresses. And a really crucial point here, you absolutely cannot use a P.O. box for your physical location. Finally, have your NAICS business classification code and your estimated monthly sales figured out. Having this exact information ready before you even open the application prevents the portal from timing out and deleting all your hard work. Once you've got your checklist sorted, the steps are super straightforward. Step 1, gather that required information we just talked about. Step 2, submit Form 2643. Now, while you technically can mail it, submitting it via the online My Tax Missouri portal is absolutely the best route to take. Step 3, you'll receive your Missouri tax ID and a PIN, which you're going to use later to file your returns. And Step 4, once you get that physical license, Missouri law actually requires you to prominently display it at your place of business. So, you're probably wondering, how long does this whole thing actually take? Well, if you submit your Form 2643 application online through the portal on day 1, typical approval takes just 2 to 3 business days. But if you decide to mail in a paper form, you're looking at a 7 to 10 business day wait after the department receives it. I highly encourage you to apply online. It's just going to get your business moving so much faster. Up next, Section 4, avoiding costly application pitfalls. Don't let administrative traps sink your business. A minor oversight on your application or even during a business purchase can lead to massive headaches down the road. Let me tell you a quick story straight from the Missouri Code of State Regulations. A motel owner had an accrued tax liability of $18,000 and defaulted on a loan. A lender acquired the motel, and then a taxpayer bought the motel from the lender. Because the new buyer didn't require a certificate of no tax due, which basically proves those old taxes were paid, that new buyer became personally liable for the $18,000 in unpaid tax, penalty, and interest of the previous owner? This is what they call successor liability. The lesson? Never ever buy a business without a certificate of no tax due. Beyond that successor trap, here are the most common registration mistakes we see. Do not operate before the license is fully approved. Seriously, wait for the green light. Don't misclassify your business activity because that actually changes your tax rules. Make sure you list every single physical location, including things like vending machines. Ensure every single LLC member is listed with their social security number, and be aware that high-risk businesses or those without a permanent physical location might be required to post a bond equal to 3 times their average monthly tax. So the crucial point here is to double-check these exact fields before hitting submit. Moving right along to Section 5, next steps for staying compliant. What life looks like after registration. Look, getting your permit is a huge win, but it's really just the starting line. Once you have it in hand, you enter the ongoing compliance phase of your business. And your filing schedule is actually dictated by your success. The Department of Revenue will assign your filing frequency based on your estimated sales. If you collect over $15,000 a month in tax, you'll file quarter monthly. Over $500 a month, you file monthly, which is due the last day of the following month. $500 or less a month, that's quarterly. Under $200 a quarter, you file annually. You absolutely must calendar these exact deadlines immediately. And here it is, the sneakiest, most dangerous pitfall for new businesses, the zero return rule. Missouri requires you to file a tax return even if you had absolutely $0 in sales for that period. If you forget because you thought, hey, I didn't make any money, I don't need to file, the state will hit you with a 5% monthly penalty, stacking all the way up to 25%. They can even revoke your license. Always, always file your zero returns. I can't stress that enough. To summarize your ongoing life as a compliant business owner, you'll want to keep this checklist handy. Display your permit prominently for customers and inspectors. File those zero returns on time. Remember that you'll need to pull a certificate of no tax due from the state portal to get or renew local city occupation licenses. Keep meticulous sales records and instantly update the state if your address or ownership changes. Sticking to these habits keeps your corporate veil intact. Failing to do so could actually lead the state to pierce that veil and impose personal, criminal liability on you as the owner. Yikes, right? Section 6. Your roadmap to business success. Let's cover some final takeaways and next steps. We have covered a massive amount of ground today, and honestly, you should feel incredibly empowered right now. Let's quickly recap your core roadmap. First, a sales tax permit is absolutely mandatory, and it protects you from up to $10,000 in crippling fines. Second, gather your documents and apply quickly and for free using the My Tax Missouri online portal. Third, beware of that successor liability trap if you're purchasing an existing business. And finally, always file your tax returns on your assigned schedule, even if you made zero sales. Before we completely wrap up, I do need to share this important disclaimer. This explainer is for informational purposes only. Every single business structure is unique, so please consult a professional accountant or tax advisor for personalized advice that's specific to your LLC or corporate situation. Which leaves us with one final thought. You've got the checklist, you know the stakes, and you know exactly which portal to use. So, is your business truly ready to open its doors? Don't let a missing piece of paper stand in the way of your entrepreneurial dreams. Get out there, get registered, and start making those sales.